Coming through.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo.
Hmm.
Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the god's great secret at the center of the city.
Hmm.
The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life.
Yeah, I mean, after thousands of years of
With
storm.
every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine. As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms.
I can see those giant skeletons.
An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it.
Ooh.
Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back.
Nice.
The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine. The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra, intertwined with fragments of
Pretty
Ukaizo's
cool picture though,
ruins
isn't
that
it?
it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side.
Yo,
As you
Aethys.
arrive at
Long
the
time
top,
no see,
you
basically.
catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you.
Hello,
With the
it's
same
me again.
gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
A long time no see. Quite long, actually. Just a month or so.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life.
Was it
The
now?
Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of
Nice.
all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
Yeah, but it is lost, isn't it?
If we don't fix this mess you're about to cause, the whole world is gonna look this bad. I mean, it's a mighty heavy load you're putting on our shoulders. I just hope we can carry it.
As long as there are people like you in this world, Adair, I truly do. This power has always been in the grasp of mortals. Now you will finally be aware of it. Now you will be able to decide what to do with it.
Gone, please, I'm begging you. What do I do following this? How am I to best serve those still living? To improve our future chances of survival?
The Deadfire and the Eastern Reach are full of animancers. Women and men with brilliant minds who can solve this great problem.
Oh god, we are relying on animancers.
They will also need people with brilliant souls, like you, Shodi. People who can tend to the spiritual needs of the world in a time of fear and desperation.
Ooh.
Remember, the flame you bear is not only light, but warmth. provide comfort to all who need it.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions.
That much is true.
But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long.
Yeah, you're pretty damn active actually, weren't you? This whole White Wind story.
One
I
must
remind you.
always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
Honestly, I want you to go even further than breaking the wheel. I want you to destroy it all.
Come again now? I don't think the Watcher really meant that,
No,
God.
no, I mean it. Destroy
We
it
ought
all.
not do anything irreversible.
Destroy the whole system. Forever.
No, this is Remergon's doing. You cannot believe this is what is best for us, Watcher.
I do not.
Why would you ask me to do such a thing?
Entropy is inevitable. Why prolong the cycle when you know it will take us in the
The
end?
cycle cannot be denied. Death and decay come for all, whether or not the wheel is broken.
Even if a final death is inevitable, life is still worth living while we have it. No, Watcher. I will not succumb
Yeah,
to
just kind of
despair.
testing you there. I was pretty
I
sure
will
you wouldn't.
not let you corrupt my purpose for being here.
Kind of figured. Stands a struggle in him. A guttering candle flame in a sea of light.
No, Aethys! Don't listen to her! I still believe in you! You can't give in to this!
Gone, please. Don't cave to the despair the Watcher seeks to smother you with. Death is only half the
Oh,
process.
come on, I was making a bit of a
What
joke
point
here. I
is there
wasn't
to
really trying
Aeora
to
if there's
destroy
no
it all.
life on it?
I must attend to my final work now.
Yeah, kind of
I
figured.
cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
Oh. No sooner have Eosa's words entered your mind than you hear one final dissonant ring of the chime within you, and silence. The note that formed when the Pellet Knight first addressed you in the beyond is now gone.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be.
Nice.
Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Okay, will do.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault.
Bam.
The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat.
He's really going all out on that
He
machine.
returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Audra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally
that's
begins to succumb
probably
to
how
his
this should end.
strength, so too does Aethys' body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Audra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits.
Well, at least that's getting destroyed, which is somewhat a revenge for destroying my castle.
Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart.
Yeah, destroy it.
Warping the
I believe
air
in
with
you.
the intense
I mean, I do
heat.
not believe in you as a god, but I believe in you as
Aethys
a
drives
purpose-driven
his right
thing.
fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Audra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation.
That's the children is how I lost my hearing. The god was shouting so freaking loud.
You see Aethys' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys' shout echoes throughout the valley.
Noise.
Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed.
Well, that's that, I
The
suppose.
wheel has been unmade.
I see a lot of white.
As Aethys' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain.
Well,
But
true
already
enough.
the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys.
That we did, didn't we?
Maras Nua's body finally goes still amidst the rubble of the Angwithan machines, yet it continues to glow. Priests and mystics have strange dreams of an island of eternal dawn at the eye of a storm, a
Ooh.
port where the tide never flows out, a roadside tavern whose door leads only inward.
That's one way of saying it, I suppose.
As a watcher, you see what these dreamers cannot. The souls of the departed drifting toward the Audra Colossus and the twilight afterlife within. Whether it is a temporary haven or a permanent end will depend on what the Kith of Aora are able to accomplish on their own. And while Maras Nua stands frozen over Ukaizo, the gods look on the labors of Kith, but they do not intervene.
Noise.
They watch and argue, wager and conjecture at how or whether mortals will solve the puzzle set before them.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna be awesome at it.
In reaching
long as you don't let me do
Ukaizo
the
and facing
fucking
Aethys,
Pizzles.
you have accomplished
That would be neat.
the impossible. And you have done it without the assistance of the great powers of Deadfire.
Indeed.
Your feats capture the awe and imagination of a world that needs heroes more than ever. Some say your intervention prevented Aethys from a far worse act of destruction.
Can I get a castle again,
Many
please? That would be
believe
nice.
You will be the salvation
Heck, why
of
not a whole
Aora.
city this time?
With each day, your legend grows, as does the chaos in Deadfire.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Ukaizo remains unclaimed, and the Efekia Channel becomes the site of a near-constant battle as the Huana and the Rawatayans vie for control of the unprotected island. The Rawatayans rely on their cannons, and the Huana call forth massive waves and beasts of the deep to sink their foes. And while they chip away at one another, the Valians and the Principi pursue their own ends with increasing abandon.
Yeah, I expected that much.
Emboldened by their rivals' distraction, the Valian Trading Company seizes territory and mines luminous Audra at a startling pace. Huana villages are left at the mercy of unscrupulous speculators, and resource-rich islands are swarmed and stripped. To support their operations, the Valian Trading Company begins shipping ever greater quantities of supplies and luminous Audra to and from the archipelago. This attracts the attention of the Principi,
Of
who
course it
target
will.
these ships
Yeah.
with increasing aggression. The promise of fat prizes draws even more pirates to their ranks.
Of course it
The
will.
Rawatayans,
There's gonna be
as
chaos
well
for
as the
years,
Huana,
isn't there?
are too busy to stop them. The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valian settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other.
Well, great.
By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Omawi woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform.
Ooh.
With the major powers at one another's throats, Nekataka becomes a maelstrom of chaos. Spies and smugglers follow the flow of refugees into the city, where violence is commonplace. Ukaizo
I
remains
guess
the
Nekataka
coveted
isn't
prize,
really
and
drawing the
Nekataka
short
fades
straw this
into an
time.
afterthought. The pirates continue smuggling food into the gullet, and the Raparu embrace their benefactors, aiding and concealing their smuggling
Yeah, I mean, what else
operations.
could they do?
Over time, the gullet becomes a hotbed of piracy. The loss of Skioriliphus' essence weakens the Water Shapers Guild. Their power wanes and their influence fades. The art of water shaping survives as an arcane curiosity. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him. But that changes as word of Aethys' deeds at Ukaizo spreads.
Suddenly he's like,
After
can we
all,
really?
what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The children of the Dawnstars respond to Aethys' sacrifice by taking up the lanterns and sickles of the Harvesters of Gone. They become pilgrims of essence, gathering souls across Aora and ferrying them to the haven within the Adra Colossus. Others will repair or rebuild the wheel one day. In the meantime, the Dawnstars will care for the souls of the dead.
Well, I guess that's better than just letting them fade away, I suppose.
Ruanu, the chieftain of the Huana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village. The leaderless tribe eventually scatters. Some head to Nekataka, while others seek out the Wahaki. The dragon, Neraskirlas, no longer passes between Aora and the White Void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart,
Nice.
exposing the temple long frozen within.
I guess that crisis has been averted at
Under
least.
Halfjorn's guidance, the Harbingers of Dusk resettle within Remergon's temple, vowing to forever protect it from the defiling touch of outsiders. Over time, the group becomes increasingly reclusive and fanatical,
Yeah, kind of figured as much.
attacking any who dare approach their holy site. In besting the Beast of Winter, you earned the Death God's mercy rather than his enmity. The deity remains characteristically unforthcoming about his decision, and you're left to wonder whether in doing battle with him in the White Void, you somehow furthered his apocalyptic ambitions.
Let's hope not so much.
Utterly corrupted by the tooth of Tawamawai, the Adra at the primal island of Kazuwari continues to remain separated from the greater beyond. As increasingly anguished spirits roam the island in search of essence, blights form with greater frequency. The
Oh,
wildlife suffers,
Bye
and the
bye,
jungle
stupid
thins
arena.
as Kazuwari slowly
at least
dies.
Galawain is not gonna make any use of that.
Weakened by the events at the island, Galawain
See?
retreats further from the intrigues of the gods. Rumors spread of his displeasure, as those godlikes touched by the father of monsters begin dying mysteriously across the whole of Aora. The faces of the hunt continue to rule the Crucible and Galawain's, or rather, Tawamawai's name. The trials summoned by the statue grow deadlier with each season, until only those rare few willing to brave the gravest of dangers seek out the bloody ordeals of Kazuwari.
I guess they don't really care, they're just gonna continue doing the same shit as
Like the other
always.
souls following in your
Surprising.
wake, Muatu eventually yearns to move on to the beyond and the wheel. Stymied by Aethys' actions, however, he settles on returning to Kazuwari, where he joins the choir of souls that echo throughout the Crucible.
Council House Ascension to near divinity shocks the circle of Archmagi, who are uncharacteristically rapid and unified in their response. Immediate and violent censure of the Lich. Council House's titanic form versus the magical attack, however, before disappearing into the depths of the Deadfire. He likely lurks in the deepest darkness of Ondra's realm, plotting, scheming, and awaiting a time he might rise again to reclaim his rightful authority. The Oracle of Whale continues to use the God's Seed to develop a twisted titanic form of whale. Not even the Archmages above know the full extent to which its sprawling tendrils infect the Black Heights.
Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed in ways both big and small.
Ooh.
Adair returns to Hisango, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Alava. The
What a
boy
nice picture
takes
of him.
heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith.
Nice.
Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so.
What a nice ending for there. He has finally, well, found a more peaceful purpose than following me around, I guess.
Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter.
She kinda did, didn't she?
Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
Nice.
Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Shodi takes to a new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls forgone, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawnstars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Neketaka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip-biting on her part. She leaves you with her sickle
Ooh,
and a
nice. I got a
hastily
sickle out of
scrawled
it.
note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you."
Nice. I left all hot and bothered.
Though the two of you no longer travel together, Shodi holds fast to the memory of you in her heart, remaining your fierce and doting girlfriend, faithful even in her absence.
Nice.
You receive a missive for every day apart, though they often arrive in a single bundle some weeks or months past. In them, she writes of how she misses you, how you were like a fire that burns
cute, isn't
inside
it?
her, how one day surely you will be reunited again. Until then, she prays for your safety as she continues to labor in service to Gon.
I mean, well, I guess she kinda didn't have much of a choice there. I would really like to have taken you
Aloth
with me.
renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With
Yeah,
the wheel
obviously.
broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one
It
he
is
does not
indeed.
expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world.
Oh, yes, you can.
You let Romaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edier Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphon seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka.
Yeah, it was one hell of a confrontation, mind you. Also, it took forever to actually find Romero, mind
When
you.
he leaves, he does so with little fanfare. Nothing but a roughly scrawled note slipped under your door. "Be seeing you, Cap." You hear of Seraphon from time to time, in rumors and sea tales. He prowls the Deadfire, a brutally efficient killer, never long for any ship and never close to any crew. The Valian Trading Company is initially furious when they learn that Pallegina had assisted the Watcher in claiming Ukaizo. In the chaotic aftermath, the company takes a more nuanced view of Pallegina's actions. The turmoil in the region allows
Just
the
forgetting about it.
well-organized company to seize a number of valuable assets from their competitors. Though Pallegina is not rewarded for her actions, nor is she punished,
Keiner figure as
the
much.
Dukes and Sangreta agree to forget her support of the Watcher. She is quietly reassigned to duty in the Valian Republics, an order she gladly obeys. Time away from the Navy gives Maya Rua some perspective on how Rauatai conducted the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen.
Gott.
Though
Gut für
Maya's
den.
covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. She receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza.
That's gonna be one hell of a family reunion.
Takehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens.
Gut.
Ngati's silence speaks volumes. The Huana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions.
That's good. That's very good,
Soon
actually.
after his departure from Nekataka, sailors report of mountainous water sculptures rising from the open sea, entrancing and salacious.
Not
These
surprising.
works are celebrated everywhere, from the brothel to the palace, though the identity of the artist remains an open question.
An open question. Looks over to the picture. See this smug little face here? Yes, he's totally responsible for that.
Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken.
Broken it
The
has.
storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves.
Well, well, well.
As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
Wouldn't that be nice for once?